Students, this is going to serve as a test review for your test that is on Friday of this week. That is November 22nd. Okay. The first portion of the test asks you to find the slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept. Our slope is found by counting from one point to the other, so let's go ahead and find a couple of points. Here's a point, and here's a point. When we count out our slope, we count from left to right. So we start at the left dot and we go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's down 4. And then we go over 2. So down 4 over 2. We reduce that, negative 4 divided by 2. And we can type it in our calculator or do it in our head, but negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So our slope is negative 2. Our y-intercept is where our slanted line hits our y-axis. It hits right there, which is down 1, 2. So that has a negative 2. As a point, the x is always 0, so it's 0, negative 2. Our x-intercept is where our slanted line hits the x-axis. So we can see right there is where that hits it, and that is to the left 1, which is negative 1, and our y is always 0 on that one. Next thing says to plot the points, draw the line, and then you're going to come up with an equation. So 0, 0 is the origin. This point, the first number tells us to go left or right. Since it's positive, we're going to go right. The second number tells us to go up or down. Since it's positive, we're going to go up. So we're going to go right 3, up 3, and that's from the origin. Right 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3. Now we can draw our line. Okay. To come up with the equation, you could stack them on top of each other and then do stat edit, which a lot of you guys are comfortable with on your calculator, so that'll be an option. Since I can't show you my calculator on here, what I'm going to do is the other way, which is count out the M and count out the B. Miss Nash told you the other day in class that you start with the skeleton and you figure out what goes in these two blanks. M goes in the first blank, B goes in the second blank. So our M is our slope, so we're going to count up 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 over 3, which reduces to 1. So that's going to come straight down there and be 1x. Here our B is where it crosses the y-axis. So where our blue line hits our red line is right there at the origin. So that is 0 or 0, 0. So that goes there. When we go to write this for our final answer, we don't write the 1 in front of an x, so that would just be x, and then we don't write the plus 0, so this is just y equals x. And you could type that into y equals on your calculator and kind of verify that that's the right answer. Okay, this next series of questions, you have a bunch of answer choices here. A, B, C, all the way down to L are different answer choices, and you have to pick which ones satisfy the different questions in 7 through 10. This says this line has a relationship with a positive slope. So when you look at A, B, C, D, and E, you got to think about slope face that we did in class. Positive slope is this part right here. So we're looking for things that go uphill. So A doesn't, B does, C doesn't, D doesn't, and E does. So B and E would be my first answer choices for that one. When we're looking at equations, we have to have them in y equals mx plus b form, and we're looking for a positive number in the m. Okay? This one is already solved for y and doesn't have an m, so that's not right. This one doesn't have a y to solve for, so that one's not right. These two do, so we would box this, subtract the 2x over, and when we write this one, it would be y equals negative 2x plus 4. So this negative 2x right here means this one is not it either. Here, we box our y, we add 3x to both sides, and this becomes y equals 3x minus 5. Since this is positive, this is an okay answer. H. For J, K, and L, you'd need to do stat edit on those three and get their equations, and then pick ones that had a positive a on the calculator, because a is our slope on the calculator. This part of the test has you solve for y and then state what's the slope and what's the intercept. So we want to get it into mx plus b. M will be that, our y-intercept. B will be our y-intercept, and m will be our slope. So we always box our y. We put ones in front of numbers that are letters that don't have anything. We draw our line down, and we do opposites. Plus 3x. I'm not going to write it there. I'm going to write it to the side over here since we know those can't be combined. That cancels out. We get y equals. Because we're trying to do mx plus b, we're going to put the 3x part first. Plus b, that's a positive 10. So there. Right underneath it we can do y equals mx plus b. There's our m. And there's our b. And if you were asked to do as an ordered pair, it's always 0 and then your number. Alright. This question wants you to come up with the equation that goes with this graph. These are all in standard form. That means they're not solved for y. When we write it, we're going to get a solved for y one. So we'll have to work on how do we convert that back and forth. So our m, we need 2 points. Here's a point. And looks like here's another point. So we count out our slope. That's up 1, 2, 3. So rise 3. Run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 3/7. 3 over 7, math 1 enter, stays 3/7. Our b is where it crosses the y-axis. So where does our slanted line hit that? And that is at 1. So if we were writing this equation, y equals mx plus b, m is 3/7 and b is positive 1. So now you would need to figure out which one of these equaled that. For this next type of question, it says which table goes with this. To get tables to come up in the calculator, you have to go to y equals, type in equation, and then you push second graph. To be able to push y equals and type it in, this thing has to be solved for y, so you're going to have to draw your line down, box this, and go through, oops, I boxed the wrong thing there. We always box our y that we're solving for. So you'd plus 6x to both sides. And so this would become 2y equals 6x plus 2. And then you divide everything by 2. And so when you get done, I'll bring it all the way down here. Y equals 6 divided by 2 is 3x. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So you'd basically need to type this into y equals and see which one of these tables matched up with it. Which of the following is not? This is the key word in this question. Correct description of the graph, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6. For A and D, you could do stat edit because you have points. Okay, stat edit, so you just need to stack these on top of each other. Like that. L1, L2 in the calculator. The same thing up here, you'd stack these on top of each other, 3, 4, and 6, 2, and then do stat edit. For this one, you can look up here and already tell that has a negative 2/3 as a slope and a y-intercept of 6. Okay? And for this one, you'd have to look at the table to see if it was or was not the right answer. Here, I would pick my own 2 points, 0, 0, and here's a good point right here.